Have you ever wondered what truly makes us happy? I'm not talking about fleeting pleasures of things like getting a new phone or a like on social media. I'm talking about something deeper.
Well, we did, and our journey, it took off 20 years ago when we left this same high school. We are brothers. Our mother, she is an emotional psychologist, and our father, he is into data-driven agriculture, a blend of science and emotion.
Fast forward 2 decades, and we're still together. Married to sisters, raising 6 kids, even living in the same farm, raising 6 horses, 2 foals, 2 ponies, a donkey, 2 sheep, 2 goats, a few chicken, a lot of vegetables. But beyond the land and the animals, our real mission is to explore something fundamental: how emotions and nature are related, how nature helps us understand and cultivate our emotional intelligence.
And that's why we're here today. We want to share with you how spending time in nature, especially with animals, can help us better at understanding and managing our emotions. This desire to understand this subject comes from a legitimate urge to provide our own children, also studying in this school, with true happiness. But fortunately for us, it's not just about feeling. It's also backed by science.
Studies show that the simple act of being in nature has measurable benefits on our emotional well-being. A systematic review by Gill in 2014 showed how being in nature improves our mental health, improves our emotional balance, and cultivates our resilience. Simply put, nature has a restorative effect on the human mind.
Take horses, for example. Unlike humans, they don't pretend. If you come to a horse with fear, he feels it. But if you walk with confidence, he responds. Horses teach us something extremely valuable, and that's emotional honesty. You just can't fake it around them. They mirror our emotions, and that reflection can really help us understand ourselves better. Let's take a little moment to just observe these animals at our farm. Just notice their presence. Let's maybe see how they make us feel. There's a lot of things happening inside. Can we maybe identify that emotion? What is it like? How is it physically behaving in your body?
And it's not just about horses. Even brief interactions with nature can have a profound effect. For example, research by Bartman and others in 2015 found that being in nature in green spaces reduces activity in the part of the brain associated with negative thought patterns. Or another study by Lee in 2010, she found that spending time in forests, that walking in forests, significantly reduces the level of cortisol, the stress hormone. Let's try something together. Let's do a brief exercise. If I may ask you to close your eyes just for a few seconds. Connecting with your breath and breathing in deeply. Exhaling softly. Inhaling deeply. Gently and slowly breathing out. And please imagine, visualize a time, a place when you felt truly at peace in nature. Maybe laying on the green grass, feeling the warm sun on your face, sweet songs of birds in the distance. That feeling, that calm, that serenity, that clarity, that's what nature brings us. And the more we immerse ourselves in it, the more emotionally resilient we become. You can open your eyes again, back to here, back to now, and back to science. Research by Ward and others in 2016 found that spending time in nature improves cognitive function, emotional stability, and it even helps kids manage stress. On top of that, when children play in natural environments, they exercise problem-solving skills and social and emotional abilities.
And we see this firsthand when kids spend time with animals. They're just naturally more present. They see things, they observe, they listen, and they connect in ways that are just harder to teach in a classroom. We've seen, for example, a child struggling with self-esteem work with a horse. It's incredible. The horse never judged him. He never demanded anything. He never gave him a grade. He just supported him with his empowered serenity. After just a very short session, the way he behaved, the way he held himself had changed. The kid was more empowered, more assured, and more serene.
Possibilities are endless. Studies show that animals foster open, collaborative, constructive, positive attitudes. For example, research, an experiment by Jenkins in 2009 found that if during psychotherapy a dog was present, children showed greater focus, more emotional openness, and they were more willing to follow guidance from an adult. This is just an example of how animals can help facilitate learning and emotional regulation in ways traditional classrooms sometimes struggle to achieve.
And it's not just in therapy. Spending time with any kind of animal, be it pets, horses, or even farm animal, always promotes to deeper social and emotional connections. It allows children and just everybody to move from superficial reaction to deep, profound emotional reasons.
Let's look at this woman for a bit, just sensing our feelings, observing our thoughts. How about no? Isn't it funny that just the presence of a dog changes our attitude? Maybe we're a little more open, a little more at ease. Maybe for some reason we trust this woman a little more. Maybe, I don't know. But it's not just about trust. Another experiment by Jenkins in 2009 showed that being with animals, interacting with animals, being surrounded by animals increases happiness, lowers anxiety, and lowers the sense of loneliness. The simple presence of an animal can have a profound effect on improving our well-being. And it's not just about emotional support. Animals, especially horses, can teach us a lot about patience, leadership, even self-confidence.
For example, one of my idols, Monty Roberts, he went to live with the wild Mustangs to understand their social behavior. And he came up with a methodology of working based on nonverbal communication. He proved that by reading body language, we can understand emotions. That allows us to create relationships even with other species based on mutual respect rather than dominance.
Imagine applying that to human interactions. Now let's talk about trust. Let's talk about empathy.
Buck Brannaman, another horse expert, he reiterates the importance of nonverbal communication in relationships, stating that horses, like humans, can read tone and intent. That means that if I approach a horse aggressively, he's just not going to trust me. But if I come with humble, calm confidence, he will.
That greatly mirrors human interactions. Respect and empathy create strong connections.
Another interesting fact. According to lead researcher Louis Evans, when speaking to The Guardian in 2024, he stated, horses can plan ahead and think strategically. This means that they're not just reactive. They anticipate situations and emotionally adjust beforehand. Maybe something that us humans could do a little bit more on our daily lives.
For centuries, we've lived with the belief that humans are separate from nature, that humans are superior to nature. But what if we shifted this perspective?
For example, there's Donna Haraway, an amazing woman, biologist, and philosopher. She talks about symbiosis, or the co-creation between species. She argues that us humans need to stop feeling superior as rulers of the natural world and instead embrace our interconnectedness with it.
In other words, nature doesn't just serve us, we're part of it. And when we acknowledge that, our emotional intelligence expands. We become more empathetic, more in tune with the world around us.
So we understand that not everybody lives on a farm. So we're saying, how can we apply this to our everyday lives? How can I connect with my mother nature? There's just simple things that we can do. For example, force ourselves to be outside every day for 5 minutes. Second, animals are everywhere. From a tree to our friend's pet, let's notice them, and once we have noticed them, let's analyze their behavior. I'm sure there's a lot to learn. And then third and most important, like horses, let's be emotionally honest. Let's be real, let's be present, and let's be ourselves.
Let's leave behind human-centered thinking. Let's embrace nature. Let's collaborate across species. Let us reimagine our place in this world.
And maybe, just maybe, by doing so, will we not only become a little bit more emotionally intelligent, but also more human.
Thank you.
Thank you.